Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to another Saturday, and I'm really glad to be talking to you today. Today I have kind of a creative drink that I really wasn't going to make. I was a little confused on what I should do for my topic today, and I was just going to do like a regular latte and make it into something kind of completely different, maybe something more akin to what I've been going through. But then I started thinking, well, here's a cool drink that I saw online and I thought maybe it would be a good idea to do. It's called the Einspanner. And so the Einspanner is essentially a double shot of espresso over ice with a milk of your choice. And it's topped with the kind of like this creamy, almost like a yogurt-like texture of heavy whipping cream, sugar, and then just poured right on top. And then you can top it off with coconut or cocoa powder. What I did was I did cinnamon on top of mine, and instead of regular milk for the base, I used coconut milk because I have this kind of like this box from Costco that I've been trying to get through. You know, I like coconut milk, but I'm just kind of starting to realize, like, for my lattes and stuff, regular milk is just fine, whole milk is just fine. And so I'm hoping that it really gives it like a coconut flavor. I haven't really tried it yet, so let's try it. Yeah, coconut milk definitely does work in this, and I'm really glad that I did it because when I tried coconut milk before, I tried it in a hot drink, and I didn't really realize that you're not supposed to like heat up coconut milk because it makes it taste terrible. And I was taking it to work, and I was realizing, well, okay, this drink sucks. So what did I do? I bought boba for the whole for the unit, and that was my energy throughout the night. But this is really good. I do recommend making an Einspanner. Very simple. You can make it with instant coffee if you don't have an espresso machine at home, a mocha pot espresso type machine if you have that. I wouldn't really recommend it with a drip filter because it would kind of cut the milk, but I definitely do recommend trying it out. It's really creamy, it's really rich, and I could honestly see this being part of my rotation. So I kind of want to relate the Einspanner to this feeling of having kind of split personalities, and maybe not so much kind of in a psycho crazy way, but in kind of like, okay, this is who I am when I am with these people, and this is who I am when I'm with these people, and this is who I am when I'm at work. I've kind of felt myself torn between two different personalities for a while now, and I feel like it kind of drives you crazy. Maybe not like in the sense of I'm going mad, I need to be admitted type of crazy, but more in kind of like the sense of I don't really understand who I should be and at what time. Or maybe it's more of I do understand who I should be and at what time. Maybe it's more of why do I kind of categorize and block myself and block my way of speech and block my actions, my way of walking, my way of writing, my way of talking, all these things. Why do I kind of block them into a specific time frame? I know for me at work, when I'm at work, I am a lot more upbeat. I'm a lot more kind of positive, I guess, in a way, because I don't really want people to perceive me, or my coworkers who I see, 3-4 times a week. I don't want them to see me as a negative person. I don't want them to see me as kind of a brick wall. I want them to see me as somebody who understands people. I want to be viewed as somebody who can be kind of there if you need me, right? You have a question, come and ask me. You need help, come and ask me. We got to pull a patient up, I'm right here. You want to talk gossip or whatever, I'm right here to listen. I won't tell anybody, just it's all for the ears, right? And then when I'm at home, it's kind of like the sense of solitude. I'm a lot more quiet. I'm not really as super upbeat. I'm still kind of a pretty positive person, but I'm not in your face about it. I'm more solemn. Whereas when I'm with my friends, I try to be the funny guy. I try to make a joke here and there. I try to, keep the conversation going, because if it's too silent, then I feel very awkward. And so it's kind of like these splits in your personality. And I wouldn't even really call them splits. The word I really was looking for is layers. And that's why I wanted to relate it to the Einspanner, because the Einspanner is a drink that is layered, right? Like most lattes and stuff. But this one especially because it's a layer of the milk of your choice on the bottom. the double shot espresso over ice, and then the Einspanner foam on top with another layer of cinnamon if you want cinnamon, or cocoa chocolate powder if you want cocoa powder. And so kind of like these layers of your personality, although they do end up building that like whole frame of who you are, of who I am, of who I call Alex, I feel like it can be very, very confusing and ultimately dissatisfying when you want to bring one into another situation, right? Maybe I want to be positive at home. Maybe I want to be positive in where I live, on my couch, on my table, making coffee and everything, and I just I can't. I zone out. Or maybe not zone out, but I kind of just chill, just mellow. Maybe that's because that's the environment that I kind of go for in my home. Although now, as you can see, there is no paintings because I'm in the process of moving out. I have 2 more weeks before I can move out, so I'm in the process of getting rid of, putting things in boxes and putting them away. But usually when I have everything up, my home kind of feels like my fortress, my fortress of solitude. And I know a lot of times then the opposite way, where if I go to work and I want to kind of not be the positive guy all the time, I want to be more serious, I want to be taken seriously, there's a lot of times where I feel like I'm kind of like the goofball on the floor, or maybe I'm just seen as like some kid, or maybe I'm just not taken seriously. That's what I want. I want to be taken seriously. And so when I try to bring that more solemn, serious mentality into that field, I can't. I feel weird. In fact, people often ask me when I do it, "Are you okay?" And they don't even know that that's me. They don't even understand that that's really who I am and what I act like at home when I'm not in a situation where I should be or wanting to be impressing other people. Layered personality is very weird, right? Because it's normal. It's incredibly normal to have a layered personality. It's incredibly normal to have kind of like these splits in how you act with who you were with. It's not something that should have really a negative stigma to it, because we all do it. I mean, I remember when I was young, I used to act, very, I don't want to say rude, but my whole personality and everything would change when I was younger and I was hanging out with my cousins, or whether than if I was just hanging out with one of them at each time. If I was hanging out with all of them, then I would try to act cool, I would try to be funny, try to be dumb, and it's not really something that I'm proud of to say that I did. It's more of something that I recognize that I do, and I recognize that I still do it, and because I do that, or because I did it, it's still in my life, and it's something that I'm really trying to chip away and get rid of. But it takes a lot of time, man. It's not even time. I think it takes a lot of deconditioning, and I'm incredibly sorry if you hear that squeaking noise. Luffy is right here. He's trying to get a toy that he has. He has this. Let me see. It's like a pumpkin ale toy that he's chewed up, and so he's got a string in his mouth right now. But he's trying to play with it. There's a water bottle in the inside, so I'm gonna throw this. Go get it, buddy. There he goes. Anyway, basically what I'm saying is it takes a lot of kind of deconditioning to get rid of that mentality, because this is something that I've been doing for the past 22 years since I was young. And so it's not really fair for me to say that I'm worthless in some situations and worth more in other situations, when I'm pretty well rounded, I would say. These situations and how I act work with each other. They work in tandem. I am this way because it works with these people. I am this way because it works with myself, or works with my environment, and I shouldn't really be distraught because of it. However, I do feel like when I'm managing all these different personalities, I do feel that it becomes incredibly hard to recognize which one is you. And the easy answer might be, okay, well, the one that is you, the one who you are, is how you act when you're by yourself. It's how you act when you're solo, when you're alone. My kind of solemn personality is who I really am. But I would kind of counteract that, right? Because that's something that I also want to change, because at times I want to bring those other personalities into how I am at home. So how does that make it the original personality if I want to change it? And I see myself in this situation with each of them, with each of the ways I act, with each of the way I speak, with each of the ways that I do things. I want to change it, and I want to bring other aspects into it. And so kind of maybe that final product of all of them is what I'm going for. Maybe that final product of all of them really is who I am, And it's not necessarily fair for me to say that one is better than the other, but more of that I'm an amalgamation of all of them. I had to cut there. I'm so, as you can tell, I'm seated differently. I had to put Luffy away because he was really making a ruckus. He was trying to rip up the screen door and everything. And I love that dog, but man, he can be pain, to say the least. I love him though. Anyway, kind of going back to what I was talking about how it's not really fair for me to say that I value one way of thinking over the other, one way of speech over the other. I do want to bring them all together and combine them and really understand who it is that I am, in such a layman broad term, how it is that I really want to speak, how it is that I want to act, how it is that I want to dress, what it is that I want to post, what it is that I want to eat, all these different things. I mean, I can name a couple off the bat. I think when I'm out with friends, I speak a lot differently. I kind of use this exaggerated accent of friendliness, of kind of being positive and saying, bro this, bro that, da da da. Where in reality, I think this is how I speak. In reality, I think that I speak like this. I think that this is my natural way of talking and articulating myself. And I want to bring this way of speech into every other situation. I want to replace all that and change it into this. And maybe that requires a bit of practice. And it's not really something, admittedly, that I do practice. It's something that I've been preaching, but it's not something that I've been practicing, and that should really change. Another thing, I kind of want to be maybe a mix of in between solemn and positive all the time. I want to be kind of, it's so hard to figure that one out, right? Because I want to be positive. I am a pretty positive person. I'm not really negative, but I'm also a realist. I'm also kind of like, well, this is how it's going to be. And I just kind of have to work around that, or maybe I can change it up, but I need to put in the effort. Maybe it requires me to really recognize when the situation calls for being positive and using that as the situation instead of just being solemn all the time. Maybe quiet and solemnness is who I want to be when I'm idle. I can still be around people, but when I'm not saying anything, when I'm not doing anything, when we're just chilling, maybe that's who I can be. And when conversation comes up, or when I have to get up and do something, maybe then I can be positive. It's like a switch. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Maybe personality-wise, it's not that easy, but you should know when they can mesh together and really work. And as long as you're satisfied with it, as long as I'm happy with it, then I think that's the most important part, I think it's incredibly rare for somebody to understand who they are 100% of the time. I think it's incredibly rare for somebody to really be honest and say that they really do know who they are. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say maybe it is rare. I'm gonna say maybe it is uncommon, because we all have these different things, I guess a good word for it would be variations. We all have these different variations of ourselves. And it's when you kind of feel the most comfortable in each situation that it works. And maybe it's not really a bad thing, that you have these layers. And maybe they don't need to be intermingled all the time. I'm just saying, for me, I would like them to be. In my case, in my individual case, I would like kind of all these different layers of my personality to be meshed into one. That way I can definitively say, I am Alex. This is me. This is how I am. This is how I speak. This is what I do. But layers are a good thing. Layers can be a good thing if that's what you like. If you like to split yourself into, and I mean this in the most positive way. I don't mean this in a negative way at all. If you like to put, one aspect of yourself here and another aspect of yourself there, and that works, and you're comfortable with that. Because, all in all, it is a lot less to manage. Honestly, it is a lot less to manage bringing everything together into one pot. And instead, you have all these different pots, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever spaces that you want to put yourself in. That is a lot less to manage. Situation by situation based, right? Because it's automatic. You flip it on. You don't even think about it. You just kind of, okay, this is who I am. And that's cool. And that's fine. And honestly, I kind of envy that. I kind of envy that kind of acceptance. I kind of envy that feeling of really understanding when you want to be who you want to be. That makes sense. And I think it's fair to say that, you are the kind of martyr of your own life. You're the decision maker. You choose how you want to be when you want to be it. And that's cool. I'm just saying in my case that I would like to bring them all together. But not one is better than the other. One is not worse off than the other. One is not more at a advantage than the other in social settings or in an introverted setting. It all just depends on who you are personally, who you are personality wise, your goals, what it is that you want to do. Maybe you're very busy with something else and you don't have time to really kind of think about all these things at once. Or maybe you have way too much time to think and you want to bring all those things in together at once. Or maybe it doesn't even matter. You want to just turn your brain off. Play some Final Fantasy. I know the new one came out, Rebirth, which I'm really trying to get up to. Maybe you want to read a book, listen to music, put on a record. Maybe you want to go to the gym. Who cares, right? Who I am, there, it doesn't matter, because my main goal right now is I don't know, squatting 350 or something. Shows how much I go to the gym, right? If that's incorrect. And so having a discussion like this, kind of like this astral projection, this fourth wall break of really understanding who you are and when you want to be that person is very important. I can at least say that. I can at least say that universally, is that it is important to have those thoughts at least once. Is to really kind of understand when you want to be this person and what person that is. And then, that's where you come to your conclusion, okay, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm here. It works. Perfect. In my case, I'm always kind of thinking about this thing, but it started with that first one, right? Well, I don't really like the way I talk in this situation. Well, I could have done this differently over there. Well, maybe I could have eaten this instead of that. Or, well, maybe, it doesn't really matter. Let me just get that croissant. Let me just have the dessert that my coworkers brought or something, Filipino puto or I work with a lot of Filipinos, so I get a lot of Filipino dessert at work. And so kind of like that thought is the trigger. And so I can at least say that thinking about it once, just once. And if you haven't yet, I advise, take the time to really think, who is it that I want to be and when? And I know I've been saying that a lot in this past 2-3 minutes, but I like that, when do I want to be who I want to be? At what point should I turn this off and turn that on? At what point should I start speaking like this? At what point should I start acting like this? Because then you really start to understand what you value most. You really start to understand really what it is and who it is that you value at what certain situations. And then that is kind of like the catalyst of even more further thought. Or like I said, if you're fine with it, then it really isn't. But it's still kind of like the catalyst of, well, okay, well then maybe what about this person brings out this in me? What about that person brings out that in me? Maybe that's not good. Maybe I don't like that. Maybe it's because I don't like that person, really. Maybe it's because I don't like the way they act or the way they say things. Or maybe it is fine. Maybe I love who I am because I love who that person is or the situation I'm in or all of this. Really brings my moods up. I really needed that. It's just another case of the Mondays. I've been really depressed this past week, and so just acting this way really did lift my spirits up. It's a way of thought, and it's more further evaluation, but I guess that's like a whole nother topic. I think maybe I'm straying a little too far from the layered personality that the Einspanner reminds me of. And this drink, I honestly was a little skeptical because to me it just seemed like a latte with cold foam. And maybe that really is what it is at the base. But that whipped texture of the heavy cream and sugar adds a whole lot more creaminess to it than a cold foam does. And it's a lot more apparent in the layers when you make the drink that, okay, this drink meshes very well together. The layers of this drink, the layers of my personality, who I am at what time, what kind of milk I used, and whether I even had heavy cream on hand in the first place or I had to use whole milk. It all kind of meshes well together. And the drink still tastes very good. Very, very good. Especially with the cinnamon on top. And who you are in the end should be somebody that you're satisfied with. Those decisions that you make on when you want to be who you want to be should kind of really blend into your overall person. And that person is going to be the best version that you think it can be. Is going to be the most perfect version of yourself. And there's nothing wrong with taking time to figure it out. And there's nothing wrong with already having figured it out. All that matters is that at the end of the day, the drink tastes great. And I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to stand by that and say that as long as you're happy, who cares? You split it, you split it. You mesh it, you mesh it. This drink is really good with coconut milk. So thank you again, everybody, for listening. I appreciate you taking your time today to, kind of bear with me on the blank background and my dog making a whole lot of noise and being kind of active right now. So I'm gonna let him out. Probably gonna take him to the park, and I'll upload this. This will go up on the website. Please check out the website again. A couple reviews coming through, as well as the journal. So please show your support. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.